pages. It's a book, you know, it's a book. So it's harder to lose it. Hey Explorers, it's Key to the Explorer here, and I'm here for another episode of Travel Chat Thursday. Today's Travel Chat will be a little bit different because I will be unboxing my gift from Adobe. And so if you didn't know, and I've mentioned it like on my Instagram stories, and you can follow me on Instagram at Key to the Explorer, but I never did like a full video about it. And so I know for at least a year, it's probably been longer than a year, I believe, but I have been an Adobe Rush Insider. As an Adobe Rush Insider, I provide feedback on new features that are coming out on this product or giving suggestions on ideas I have for future products or features in the Rush system, and or talking about any glitches I may have while using it. So they actually sent a Christmas gift, and I am going to unbox it here. I remember getting a glimpse of the gift online, but I don't really know what it is because I can't remember, and like I literally looked at it like this. So while I'm opening the package, I'm going to talk to you about a story of friends submitted to me that I'm going to use for this Travel Chat Thursday. So before we get into unboxing this gift from Adobe, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell right next to it so you're notified when all of my videos are released. First of all, subscriptions are very important for my channel and it will really help me, and it's free, so might as well do it. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified about all of my travel adventures, tips, and chats that will help you in your future travel endeavors. So with that said, now let's get back into the video. All right, so as I open this, the topic that my friend has sent to me is that she recently went on a trip and she lost her license in the airport here, and which is her home destination. When she got to her final destination, she realized her ID was not there and she could not rent a car. Yeah, what a tragedy. So she tried different things, but you have to have a license in order to rent a car. Yes, there's nothing you can really do to combat that because, I mean, you have to prove that you can drive, right? So in order to do that, you could have a second license, like an international driver's license that will help you if you need to rent a car and you lose your ID, but it's very important to keep up with it. So when you're traveling through the airport, I know there's like a lot of transitions that are happening through the airport, and it's very possible for you to lose it, especially going through security, or maybe you have to show your ID to purchase something, or you have to show it, you know, when you're at the ticket counter checking into your flight. There's a lot of different places you could pull out your ID. Me personally, I actually left my ID once. This was a long time ago, and I was going through security and they were rushing us through, and I did not put my ID back in its right place, and it actually fell out into the security bin. Luckily, I noticed right then and there at the security checkpoint, and I'm like, hey, I need you to go through those bins because my ID is in there. So I was able to get it right away. It's very likely to lose your ID at the airport because of all the transitions and needs for it. So let me get back into opening this cute purple wrapper. Oh. Look at, oh, it's sticking. Card. How cute. All right, so inside this box, I have a mug that says Rush Insiders. How cute. This is really nice for some nice hot tea, hot chocolate, coffee, whatever. It's very thick. So this is really cute. And he actually sent some cocoa mix. Like, I want to make this now, but I just had like all this ridiculous amount of food. So here is some cocoa mix and also 2 pieces of candy. It is chocolate squares peppermint bark. You can see here is a popular brand name. I don't know how to say this name of this company. And then they have a card, Rush Insiders, and it says, happy holidays. Thank you for being a part of the Rush Insiders. We feel so lucky to have creators like you in the group that provide valuable feedback that will help us improve Rush, the Rush team. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me be a part of the team. This is really cool. I use Adobe for everything, like, because I know I'm a photographer, so I use Lightroom as well as Photoshop for any of my photo editing. I usually use Lightroom for most of my edits, especially for events, or if the lighting is perfect, like, and I don't have to really do much manipulation for a portrait. But I will use Photoshop obviously for heavy manipulation, like maybe that person has something on their face and they don't want it there, then I'll go into Photoshop to remove it, or sometimes I'll switch out the backgrounds or blur it. Like, I'll do different things in Photoshop that you just can't do in Lightroom. But I use Adobe Rush to do all of my editing of videos for YouTube. And so I'm in there every week, multiple times a week, editing. So if you use Adobe Rush, I definitely would like to know what you think about it. Maybe you have some feedback that I can give to the team. Please share. But yeah, this is really cute. I can't wait to use this. Thank you so much, Adobe. Now back into this story with my friends. So in order to not have this happen, or this situation happen, so when you get to your final destination, you can rent the car. It's like I said, make sure you have a second license, so an international driver's license, so you can use that at the place. But also make sure you're always putting your license back up after use at the airport. Another thing to make sure you don't, because the license cards are really small. Like, I don't have one available, but they're usually like this big, very thin like this card here. And so it's very easy to lose. I typically, when I fly through the airport, I take my passport. That is a bigger document, it's thick, it has pages, it's a book, it's a book. So it's harder to lose it. And that's what I use for my transactions at the airport. I use that as ID at the ticket counter. I use that as ID going through security, and it's harder to lose that, in my opinion, but I still keep up with it. At the end of the day, you have to make sure you're putting your ID back up and make sure you have it, because if you don't have that ID, you won't be able to rent the car. And also, if you don't have that ID and you don't have a backup, you may have a problem boarding your flight to return home. Which brings me to another story. This was a long time ago. We had a girls' trip in Puerto Rico, and one of the girls' wallet got stolen right before the flight, and she did not have an ID. So she was able to produce documentation to show who she was, but that was a whole thing. Like, I can't even remember what documentation she had to produce, but it was a lot. And they did end up letting her go through security. And this was after 9/11. I know, because back in the day, things were very light at the airport. And yeah, what was this? Maybe 2014 she did this. And then of course, again, on the way back, she had to reproduce that information to go back home. And that's it's very risky to do that. You don't want to be in that situation. So just make sure you keep up with your stuff. So comment down below if you ever had a situation where you lost your license or ID, you weren't able to board your flight, or know anyone who has done that. Make sure you comment down below. I want to hear your story. What happened? What did you do to combat that? And also comment down below if you use Adobe Rush, what recommendations you may have for me, so I can check into it and I can provide feedback to Adobe. So I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And don't forget to share this video with your friends, family, and social media networks so they can get in on the chat as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever in the world you are.